Tonight I'll reach out and touch the sky in the city of angels.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Karla from Karla's World, and today I'm really excited to share with you guys our world famous Salvadorian Tamales recipe. This recipe was given to me by my mother-in-law, who was given to her by her mom back in El Salvador. This recipe comes from the Department of Usulután in El Salvador. We are Salvadorian, and it's a really special recipe, very authentic, very delicious, made with lots of love. And I don't say that just because we make it. I'm saying that because truly every time people try just one single bite of these tamales, they are truly blown away with how delicious they are. So I am going to share with you guys step by step how to prepare the banana leaves, how to cook the masa, how to cook the sauce, and everything that you need to make these delicious tamales.
Of angels, feels like I'm coming home.
These are all of the ingredients that you're gonna need to make your Salvadorian tamales. So I have parchment paper that we use to wrap the banana leaf tamales. A lot of people like to use aluminum foil. We like to use the parchment paper. Here are frozen banana leaves. You can buy this frozen or fresh, and I will show you how to prep these. You have the ground cumin, which is comino molido, and the black pepper. We're gonna need achote, which is spice seasoning paste. You're going to need 1 bag of maseca, and the great news is that this is gluten-free. So this 1 bag will probably make about 50 Salvadorian tamales in the size that we make them. We don't make them too large or too small. We like to use 1 40-ounce oil, which can be, honestly, you can use any brand, any type that you like, as long as it's oil. You're gonna need some salt. You're going to need some chicken bouillon. I like to use the Nor brand. We have a small can of garbanzo beans, a small can of cut green beans. You can do these fresh if you want to, but I like to save myself some time. You're gonna need some potatoes to put in the tamales, and you're gonna need some green bell peppers, lots of tomatoes, and a few onions. So the first thing we do is clean the chicken. We like to take all of the insides out of the chicken. We like to grab a knife and scrape the chicken all the way around just to make sure that no feathers have been left behind. And then we rinse it out, grab a piece of lemon, and we like to squeeze it all over and rub the lemon over the chicken just to make sure that the smell is gone from the packaging. And we like to make sure that it's nice and clean so that we can get started on our tamales. Now I'm going to grab a large pot, put some hot water in it, and I'm going to put the chicken in there, dice some onion. So I'm going to use half of an onion, dice it up, and I'm going to put it in the pot. And I'm going to add some salt and some garlic just to give it some taste. To start prepping the frozen banana leaves, you have to start with a clean sink and some clean washed scissors. So I'm going to open the package, remove the frozen banana leaves, and I am going to start stretching them out. There should be about 7 or 8 leaves bundled in each package. So I am going to stretch them out, and I'm going to start cutting them, cutting the vein, and I will explain that in just a minute. Now I want you to pay attention very carefully to the banana leaves. See how they have, one side usually has the vein, which is the thicker part. This bottom has a very light edge. So we want to cut the vein off so that you can start cutting into pieces to make your tamales. So if I wanted to do this, it's not going to cut because the vein is in the way. So what I'm going to do is, with the scissors that I have, I am going to cut alongside. So you'll see me stretching out each banana leaf, and I'm trying to cut all of the veins out and setting the veins to the side, because we are going to use this later on when cooking our tamales. So right now I'm going to cut the vein, and then I will be cutting piece by piece the size that we should be having so that we can individually wrap the tamales when making them. So on the right side of the sink, those are the smaller pieces that I have already cut to use for the tamales. And I will show you guys how to prepare this with the parchment paper in just a minute.
Scars don't hurt. Stay with me until the last man falls. I don't need them anyway. When I'm with you, I have it all. Oh, I'll never let you slip away. Oh, and you don't have to be afraid.
Now that I'm done cutting off the vein and tearing the banana leaves into smaller slices for the tamales, I am using a brand new sponge to clean each individual leaf. And I do this because these leaves come from trees. They're pre-packaged in farms, and I don't know how it's handled. So I just want to be extra cautious and be as clean as possible, because the tamales are going in these banana leaves, which are then going into our mouth. So it's just an extra measure that I take personally, and I would recommend for you to do the same. So I'm gonna show you how to warm up the banana leaf, because if you notice, these banana leaves, they're very stiff, so we need to warm them up so that they can be rollable and bendable when we're wrapping the tamales. So I'm going to show you with all of these clean banana leaves, I'm going to show you how to warm them up. So we're going to go ahead and put these on medium heat, medium to high heat. We're going to put it on the comal. This is the same place where we do pupusas or tortillas. And I'm just going to this is going to take no more than like 5 seconds. So if you come and you look at the water consuming in the fire and it starts getting all white, that's when it's ready to turn. What we say in Spanish, estamos cociendo la hoja. So we're kind of cooking the banana leaf. So we're just making sure that it starts getting white or getting its true green color, that it's not wet. See how it starts turning into green? We don't want it to burn either. So we're just gonna go as quick as possible. It starts turning really fast. See how it starts consuming all the water and it starts turning to its own color? Starts turning into its own color. So we're just cooking the banana leaf, making sure that it's cooked and ready to go. So you're gonna do this over and over for your packs of banana leaf until it's all ready. Okay, so now we're going to fix our parchment paper. We're gonna fold them. And you're going to cut. Now they're in half, okay? So when we get our banana leaf, you're gonna notice that one side is very smooth and the other one has little veins on them. So you wanna put the vein face down.
I used to be so low, now I can't be alone.
So we have the vein
I used to be
and we have the smooth part.
But I feel alive with you. Take it easy on my heart, otherwise I fall apart. Alive with you. Take it easy on my heart, otherwise I fall apart. Alive, alive, I feel alive with you.
off because the chicken is ready. We are going to transfer the chicken out of the pot into the bowl. Make sure to keep the chicken broth in this pot cooling off because you are going to eventually use it to make your sauce for the filling and to make the masa for the actual tamales. So do not throw this away. Okay, so what we're going to do here, now that we have the chicken out, we don't want to shred it into small pieces. Whatever piece we get, that's what we want to use. So see how this is? We just grabbed that piece. That's what we're going to put in each tamal. So we want to just grab and put in. Okay? We don't want to shred it too much. And this is obviously hot. So here's another piece. This is the size that you want to have. So the next thing we're gonna do is peel our garbanzo beans. So I've already opened the lid and I'm going to drain them. And you have to peel them because these have little skins on them. So you have one. You just kind of swipe them off. This is the skin, this is the garbanzo beans. And we're gonna put the clean ones in a bowl. Here are you wanna grab a bowl to put all the garbage. So you kind of just pinch them together and peel. These are the size that they should be. You can make them a little smaller if you want to. And you want to go ahead and put them into water so that they won't get dark and black. So to make the sauce for the tamales, we are going to need 10 tomatoes, half of an onion, 1/4 cup of achote, which this is achote. It's the spice seasoning paste. I'm going to use 1 spoonful of black pepper and 2 spoonfuls of ground cumin, el comino molido, salt to taste, and about 2 spoons of the chicken bouillon. So I'm going to dice up the tomatoes just to help the blender. And I've already added the chicken broth here. So the broth from the chicken that we made earlier, I'm using about a little more than half a blender so that it can get a good flavor. And this sauce here is for our chicken and for the filling inside of the tamales. So I'm adding 1 spoon of black pepper, 2 spoons of the chicken bouillon, salt to taste, and 1 spoon of ground cumin. Now we're going to remove from the blender and put on the fire. You don't need oil. As of now, it's just the potatoes and the sauce. So the idea is for the potatoes to get a little soft, but not totally cooked. We don't want it to be fully cooked because they're going to finish being cooked when the tamales are boiling together. So now I'm gonna add the chicken. These are the pieces of chicken that we're gonna add to the tamales, and we're going to dump it in here. Well, we want the chicken to be submerged in the sauce, getting all of the flavors that it needs to get. We'll let that boil for a few minutes, and then we'll add the bell peppers, the garbanzo beans, and the green beans. And this is exactly what it should look like. The smell is amazing. The taste, unreal. Now we're going to prepare to do the masa, and I'm going to grab this 20-quart pot, and I'm going to grab my oil. Now I want to state, I did get this 40-ounce bottle, but this is too much oil for this 20 quart. So I'm probably only going to leave this much. So probably use about half of this or a little more than half. And the way that you want to put this, you want to open it up and you want to rub the side so that it can all get nice and wet here, okay? You want to get the sides. So I used, let me take this logo off. So I used about a little more than half because I don't want to put too much oil, and I want to grab and just turn this around so that the oil can be evenly spread around the rim and the edge of the actual pot so that when we're cooking the masa, it's not going to get stuck and can easily slide off. Now I'm going to open a bag of maseca, and I am going to mix this very well with some regular water. I am going to make several of these batches, and I am going to put it into the blender with some chicken broth, and we do this just to eliminate any lumps, to make sure that it's nice and smooth. And this is the same masa that you use to make pupusas, to make tortillas, and now we're using it to make the masa for our tamales. Okay, so I finished with the mixture, and now I put a little bit of broth in here before so that the blender won't get stuck. And I'm gonna do these again in small batches. So I'm grabbing some from the bowl and transferring some flour, some mixed in flour into the blender. So now I'm gonna put a little more of chicken broth on top just so that it can mix well. And I'm going to transfer it over to the blender and start blending. Now that it's blended and all mixed together to reduce any lumps, I am going to transfer it to the stock pot. And you repeat this over and over until the batch is done. Okay, so we are going to do the sauce for the masa. So we're going to season the masa, which is the corn flour, and I'm going to use 4 Roma tomatoes, but I've cut them in half and I've put them into the blender, just like we did for the sauce of the fillings. And I've also halfway filled the the blender with the chicken broth. So it's from the juice of the chicken when we were cooking it earlier today. So 4 tomatoes, I'm using half of an onion, and I've already kind of sliced it so that it can be easier for the blender. I'm going to use 1 bag of the ground cumin. I'm going to use half a bag of the black pepper. I started using this for the other things, so half a bag. And we are going to use 4 large spoons of the chicken bouillon. And I will also grab salt to taste. Now that we've blended everything together, we are going to pour the mix into the masa to flavor it. And when the masa starts cooking, you're going to see it rise to the rim of the actual pot. And it's really important that once the fire turns on, you have to continue stirring around and not stop. Otherwise, it's going to get stuck on the bottom of your pot. And there's one last ingredient, one secret ingredient that you'll need to master this masa. So the secret to this is to add a raw tomato and just squeeze it in. I don't know what it is, but my mother-in-law says that this is the secret to make it super, super good. And this should take about an hour, maybe less, maybe about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. And you're just going to be turning around and around and around, all over, round, up, down, so that it will not get stuck. And if you look closely, this is what the color should look. So the masa was white, and now with the flavoring that we've given of the bouillon and the tomatoes and everything else, it should be a little like pinkish, and the flavor will be good. So once it starts being ready, you'll notice that it's going to get harder to turn, and the masa is going to thicken up. And you have to taste a little bit on a spoon and make sure that it doesn't taste raw. It has to taste cooked. If you need more salt, you can always add salt to taste. So I'm going to emphasize again, do not stop stirring. You need to be constantly moving this. As soon as it's on the fire, you cannot stop. You need to turn it around and around, up and down like I'm doing now. Your arm is going to get tired, it's going to hurt, but you need to keep stirring. Do not stop. Otherwise, you're going to ruin the masa. This is how you know when it's done. Do you see this? It starts getting really thick and it starts bubbling up. So it's boiling. So we're gonna turn it off. And so when you taste it, I'm gonna grab a spoon and I'm gonna taste it. When you start tasting it, it doesn't taste like flour anymore. It starts tasting like it's cooked. So I poured some of the masa into separate bowls so that it can be nice and cool, because you have to give it some time to cool off so it can be easier for you to wrap. Because if it's too hot, you can burn yourself and it kind of just spreads everywhere. And I've also put the mix into another bowl. So I know typically Salvadorians will have the garbanzo beans in one bowl and the green beans in another and the chicken in another, and they put one by one. We don't do that. We make our life easier by having it all combined, and then we kind of, when we grab the spoonful, we put everything in the mix. But it's kind of like your carne asada. You want to keep it marinated. So the more time it has in the sauce, the better. So that's why we do it this way. So I'm gonna wrap maybe 1 or 2 so that you guys can see how I wrap these. And then we're going to come back when we're boiling. I'm gonna grab 1 spoonful. So we make sure to put potatoes, chicken, garbanzo beans, the bell pepper, and the green beans.
what you're doing is making me feel like I'm falling. And when you're moving, I can hear my calling.
I'm going to grab a chicken and add that here, and add all my other ingredients like garbanzo, my green beans, and add some more sauce, and then we're going to roll. The way that we roll, I'm going to flip this corner over, and then I'm going to pull back, forming the tamal, and I'm going to roll around and pull again to form, and again. Now I'm going to grab the edge, I'm going to squeeze, and I'm going to flip back. I'm going to do the same here, making this nice and tight and firm, and fold back, and you should have your tamal. I'm going to show you guys again. When it gets dry, it's easier to form, but it's also harder in measurement. So I'm going to add my potato. I'm going to add a piece of chicken, my garbanzo beans, my green beans, and my green pepper, and some more sauce. I like to be very generous with my potato and especially with the chicken. Now I'm going to flip this, go all the way over, and push back. I'm going to grab the edge and fold back. The top part, I'm going to squeeze, forming into the tamal, and push back. So one more time.
I don't think we got enough time to sort out all the fights, sort out all the lies. Oh baby, yeah. There was a part of me that knew that, and still I'm caught by surprise. I thought you'd always be mine. I guess our dreams fell asleep. There's no passion in the comatose. Baby going down, 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 down. Baby going down, 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 down. Tried so hard to stay afloat. Yeah, we keep moving like the river goes. Baby going down, 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 down. Yeah. And I thought, it's time I'm letting you go. This time.
Do you guys remember all the banana leaves we talked about earlier in this video? Well, here they are. We are using it for the bottom of the pot before we put our tamales in. We are going to put the banana leaves and the veins in, and then we're going to tightly line up the tamales, the wrapped up tamales, and we are going to start putting them very firmly together so that the water, when we put the salted water, it will not wash the flavor away. So I'm gonna add salt to my water, and I'm going to pour it in the pot, but on the corner so that it will not wash out my tamales. When the water starts boiling, you're going to see it boil all the way to the top, to the rim of the pot. And the parchment paper is going to be cooked, so instead of being dry and white like this, they're going to kind of be translucent to the green banana leaf. And that will tell you that the tamales are cooked. So make sure that it's boiling. So this should take, because this is not so many tamales, it's probably going to take about an hour or less. But make sure that it's completely boiling and that the sheet is cooked. And then you can go ahead and try. So I'm also going to cover this up with the banana leaves, just so that it can get more flavor. Trying the tamales as soon as they come off the stove is the best time to try it out because it's so soft, so good. I mean, it is challenging because it's hot, it's boiling hot, but oh my gosh, you guys, you have to try this recipe out because it is off the hook. I gave some to my uncles and they absolutely loved it. I mean, the masa was really rich, it was smooth, and the flavor was on point. Alright guys, that's all I have for today's video. I really hope that you guys will try this recipe out and make tamales for Christmas. Share it with all your friends and family. And if you love it, go ahead and leave a comment below and tell me how great it was. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up and to consider subscribing if you're new. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!
No, it's no more, we don't know. No, it's no more, no, no. We don't know. No, it's no more, we don't know. No, it's no more.